Chapter 1. Before you get started. Equipment. Why is the type of equipment I have important? You can't expect yourself to train and race at your full potential without the right tools to aid you. Look at it this way. Football players wouldn't walk into a game without a helmet, shoulder pads, etc. So why should a runner start a race without proper shoes and clothing? Clothing. T-shirts and tank tops. Cotton or cotton and polyester combination. Most t-shirts are of this type. Spandex. Helps get rid of moisture from sweating. 100% polyester. My personal favorite because it is light and keeps you dry and cool. Breathable material. Long sleeve shirts. Thin shirts meant for cool summer and autumn mornings or nights, like Under Armour's heat gear. Insulated spandex for cold winter and spring days, like Under Armour's cold gear. Shorts. Spandex. Tight and aerodynamic. Not always the most comfortable, so you should use these for races only. Cotton and polyester. Soft and breathable. Running shorts. Light and very comfortable. My personal favorite. Usually labeled as running shorts, characterized as having a slight curve on the side. Pants. Spandex. Skin tight so it doesn't weigh you down. Cotton and spandex. A little more bulky than spandex, but much softer. Loose legging type pants. Comfortable, but not very aerodynamic. Usually not made for racing or running. Sweatpants. Good for warm-up and stretching. Do not wear for racing. Sweatshirts and hoodies. Good for warm-up and stretching. Could be worn for racing, but this is not recommended. Socks. Cotton or cotton and bamboo, or any other material that allows your feet to breathe. They have socks especially labeled running, but those are just breathable socks with a running sign attached and an increased price tag. Just buy the bamboo and cotton combination. It is the kind I recommend the most. Accessories. Watch. Essential. Needed for timing workouts, learning to pace, etc. Must have a timing stopwatch feature. Ideally can do splits. While timing, it can split the total time into individual sections so you can tell how fast each distance was. Waterproof. Needed for aqua jogging and running in the rain, snow, etc. Hat. Has a top. No visors. The point is to protect your head from the sun, and without a top, it only shields your face. Light color. Darker colors like black and navy absorb more light, and they would become hotter. Lighter colors would keep you cooler. Sunglasses. Protects you from the sun's harmful UV rays. Get polarized ones. Prevents you from slowing down when the sun glares in your eyes when you run. This is an automatic response. Headband, hairband. Elastic with no metal parts. Some races disqualify for metal parts. Hold your hair better. Pre-wrap and athletic tape. Injuries. You must put pre-wrap under athletic tape, or else it will hurt when you take the tape off. And athletic tape helps if you have an injury or just weak joints. Hair. Most races allow you to use pre-wrap as a form of headband to keep hair out of your face. Wrap it around your upper thigh for sizing, tie the ends, and slip it around your head. It stretches. No jewelry. Jewelry is never allowed in races. Don't wear loose jewelry when running, even in practice. Could be hazardous if a long necklace or hoop earring gets caught on something while you're running. Some races allow you to put tape over earrings if they were recently pierced. Body jewelry, as long as it isn't seen or has the possibility of hooking into something. Shoes. Training shoes. First, you must figure out what type of shoe you need. There are 3 types of training shoes for running. Stability, for people who have normal arches on their feet. When they stand, most of the pressure is on the middle outer part of the foot, and while they walk, the pressure goes down towards the ball of the foot. This is called overpronation. Motion controlled, for people who have flat feet. No or very low arches. When standing, the ankles roll inward and the foot flattens. Cushioned, for people who have high arches. When they stand, the pressure is almost exclusively on the outer part of the foot. This is called underpronation. Typically, the types of shoes are labeled, but if not, stability shoes, they are considered to be the normal width. A better way to distinguish these is to look at the sole of the shoe. There's usually a line in the middle that runs through the length of the shoe. If you trace this line with your finger from about the middle of the shoe to the tip, it should run in about a straight line. It'll be a little bit of a curve, but not too much. Cushioned shoes. These shoes look a lot narrower than stability shoes and the motion-controlled shoes. They are called cushioned shoes because they offer extra cushion to help absorb the shock that occurs when you run. Underpronators receive more shock to their legs because they stay mostly on the outer part of their foot. Motion-controlled shoes are a lot wider than stability shoes or cushioned shoes. Overpronators' feet roll too much inward, thus too much motion, so these shoes help to lessen the rolling motion. Overpronators and underpronators can wear stability shoes if they get orthotics. Custom-made orthotics work best, made to fit your feet exactly and give you just as much support or lack of support to make your foot motion normalized. Cost about $400 initially and need to be resold every 2 years or whenever they wear out for about $60. I recommend them. They are worth it. Can also use store-made orthotics, basically insoles with arch support. Good store-made orthotics cost about $30 to $40, but must be changed frequently. Depends on use. Training shoe brands I recommend, very reliable and well-built. Brooks, Asics, Saucony, New Balance, Nike. Training shoe brands I would not recommend seem to invite injuries. Puma, Under Armour, Adidas. For training shoes meant for distance, which 5K is, get a half size up from the shoe size you normally buy. You want a half size up because of the different terrains you will train on, like hills. The shoe store personnel that are specially trained in shoe fitting will not suggest this, as most of them are not 5K runners. Bottom line for training shoes, I only trust Brooks or Asics for my training shoes. The right training shoe can help prevent injuries, while the wrong training shoes can get you injured before you even step on the start line. Training shoes are more important than racing shoes. You can always race with training shoes, but you can never train with racing shoes. Invest in some good training shoes. It'll be worth it in the end. Racing shoes or spikes. When you are buying racing shoes, there are two types. Racing flats. Lightweight shoes, basically a lighter and less cushioned training shoes. Good for a course that will be mostly gravel or pavement. Some people prefer flats on all courses because they are very light, lighter than spikes. Spikes, lightweight shoes with metal spikes on the bottom. Especially useful on courses with hills, creeks, mud, and dirt. Can be used if the course only contains a little portion of gravel or pavement. The only downside is there is noise when the metal hits the ground, which dulls the metal too. The metal part of the spikes can be easily replaced. They are part screw, part spike. Not good if the course is mostly pavement or gravel. The more spike holes on the bottom of the shoe, the better. Make sure the spikes or racing flats are mostly mesh material. This gives the shoe the ability to breathe and helps to keep it lighter and much more comfortable. This also helps with water drainage after you run through a creek or puddle. I would recommend choosing spikes over racing flats. They keep you from falling in muddy areas and help you grip hills better so you can get up them faster. My recommended flats and spikes have enough cushion to sustain you through the race, but not too much as to weigh you down. Asics, Brooks, Nike. Bottom line for racing shoes, when it comes down to it, I would get Asics spikes. When you tie your running shoes, training or racing, you always want to double knot it because you don't want to have to retie it. And make sure you do not tie it too tight or too loose. either of those would put excess strain on your ankles. The way to tell if it's the correct tightness is to wiggle your toes and try to move your feet up and down. If it's too tight, you will have to put a lot of effort into wiggling your feet around. And if it's too loose, your feet will easily move. You want to have to put a slight bit of pressure in order to move your foot. This guarantees the right amount of support and flexibility. Some people like to tuck their shoestrings after double knotting them into the sides of their shoes or under the tongue to make sure they don't fall out and become untied. This is up to you. It won't hurt to do it.